everyone. Welcome to another mission webinar for our 3-day community. My name is Carrie Stovall, and I'm the Director of Events here at Komen in the Dallas office. I am filling in for Amber Livingston. I know that she was listed on the information about the webinar, but she is actually on the ground in Philly getting ready for the Philly 3-day. So I am stepping in for her as they get ready for this weekend's events. So again, we're really excited about offering another webinar on our important mission programs to help keep you guys up to date on all of the great work and the research that Komen is doing. So before we get started, I wanted to just quickly let you guys know that you will be receiving information on a webinar that will be taking place on Wednesday, October 19th. That information should come out this week sometime. And on that webinar, what we're going to be doing is taking some time to hear from the leadership team, from our Senior VP of the Affiliate Network, Miguel Perez, as well as our VP from our mission team, Victoria Velasco. And they're going to give an overview of our big, bold goal and kind of the strategic direction of the organization. So I just wanted to go ahead and mention that to you guys today so you could kind of keep that on your radar. But again, you'll be receiving information on that, and we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to listen in on that, because I think it's going to have some important information, and that will, as we look to 2017 and the direction that Komen's going. So just keep that on your radar. And then also, before we get started, just remember that at the I think on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see the question and answer options. So as the webinar is going on, please remember to submit your questions. We definitely want to hear from you as the presentation is taking place. So please send those in. We will get to the questions that we can during the webinar, and if not, we will get those answered, and then we will distribute those post the webinar to this group so everybody has them. So we definitely want everybody to take advantage of that feature. And then also, just in case I forget to mention at the end of this, also we will send a post-webinar survey out probably early next week. So please remember to fill that out as we look to continue to make improvements of the webinar series that we're working on. We definitely want to hear from you. So please just make sure that you fill that out. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Annabelle with our mission team, and she's going to intro us to the information we're all here to get.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everyone. My name again is Annabelle O. I'm a Senior Manager of Research Grants Administration at Komen headquarters. I oversee the process of initiating newly funded grants and post-award administration for research programs. I work remotely from my home office here in Seattle, and I hope we're joined by those who walked the Seattle 3-day just last month. I had the pleasure of meeting some of you in my makeshift cheer station during the last 3 miles, so it was very fun for me. But before I introduce today's speaker, Dr. Susan Thomas from Georgia Tech, I wanted to take a few moments to talk about Komen's resources on metastatic breast cancer and our investment in metastatic breast cancer research, because today is Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day. So next slide. I wanted to put together our efforts in helping metastatic breast cancer patients in the context of our new mission statement and bold goal for our organization. That statement really captures Komen's approach to ending breast cancer, which is to save lives by meeting the most critical needs of our communities and investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer. We believe this mission is more important than ever because despite tremendous progress against this disease, 40,000 men and women die every year in the United States, and this is a number that we really want to change with our bold goal. And of course, our bold goal is to reduce the number of current breast cancer deaths in the United States by 50%, and to do all of this within the next decade. We can achieve this, and we're going to draw on our unparalleled leadership in to take on this bold goal by going on two fronts: by funding breakthrough breast cancer research, and by working to ensure that every person has access to and receives high-quality breast cancer care. With our bold goal, we've enhanced our focus on finding new treatments for aggressive and incurable breast cancer, and by leveraging Komen's expertise in identifying and funding the best, most innovative breast cancer research and researchers. And I'd like to point out, if I could, that one of the focus areas is on metastatic breast cancer by preventing metastatic breast cancer recurrence. And so we know that research is critical to ending breast cancer, but we also know that what we've learned in the world with our research won't help if benefits can't reach all the women and men who need it most. And so our bold goal has also enhanced our focus on closing the gap in breast cancer outcomes with communities served by Komen. In terms of resources that you can use and share, there's nothing better I can point out to you is Komen.org for information on metastatic breast cancer. This section on metastatic breast cancer within our About Breast Cancer portion of our website offers information on metastatic breast cancer, such as what it is and where it most often spreads. In addition, you can find information about metastatic breast cancer treatment, including emerging areas in care, clinical trials, as well as quality of life issues, symptom management, and supportive care. I also wanted to point out a specific fact sheet we have available called Facts for Life on metastatic breast cancer. This two-sided fact sheet is available to print out and includes a lot of the same information that I just pointed out on our website. Another fact sheet I wanted to point to your attention is our research facts on metastatic breast cancer. This is another one-pager that gives a complete picture on our total research investment in metastatic breast cancer research to date, and it offers some lay-friendly one-liners that you can use and share with your donors and supporters on areas of research that we're investigating, as well as what we've learned. In addition, we've also pointed out stories on specific discoveries funded by Komen that have made a significant impact in breast cancer research. Of course, Komen doesn't work alone. We work in partnership with many breast cancer organizations. One I wanted to point out in particular, the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance. This group is a group of more than 15 leading cancer charities and advocacy organizations, and was formed in 2013 to transform and improve lives of women and men living with metastatic breast cancer. Now there's more than 40 members organizations, both nonprofit and pharmaceutical industries, that is part of this alliance. And I want to point out that Komen is a founding member of the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance. So this alliance is aimed at unifying the efforts of its members to increase awareness, education, while advancing research policy efforts for metastatic breast cancer, and has the potential to extend life, enhance quality of life, and ultimately, of course, find a cure. So finally, I just wanted to, again, refer to our website, which outlines what our bold goal is, how we plan to achieve it on our website. But of course, as Carrie pointed out, please don't miss the special webinar next week that's being presented by two of our senior leadership members. With that and all this information armed, I'd love to introduce today's speaker, which is Dr. Susan Thomas. So as we transition to our first slide, I want to tell you a little bit more about Dr. Susan Thomas. She's a Komen Career Catalyst Research Award recipient, and she focuses her work on the development of immunotherapy-based methods to treat breast cancer. She's classically trained as an engineer with a degree in chemical engineering from UCLA and a PhD in chemical and biomolecular engineering from Johns Hopkins University. Needless to say, Dr. Thomas's approach to cancer research is unique, and this approach to her lab that her lab is taking is highly innovative and on point. She's currently a bold goal. Her innovative work has been recognized by many in the field through numerous awards, such as Swiss National Science Foundation Fellow for the Nobel Laureates in Chemistry, a concept award from the Department of Defense Breast Cancer Research. So we are very fortunate to have Dr. Thomas present her story for today's 3-day webinar.
Welcome, and thanks for the opportunity to speak to you today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey and about why I'm working on what I'm working on. Why breast cancer research? And the short answer is, I like challenges. I like working on problems, big problems, and problems that are important. And in particular, breast cancer is something that I've understood for a long time, and I've understood that it's a big problem for my family and our country and our society, because both my mother and my aunt and my grandmother had breast cancer. And so because of my grandmother, even before I was born, having breast cancer, and my mom and my aunt having it, I knew it was an important challenge. And really, I started my research career really wanting to know why breast cancer, why does it develop in the people that it develops in, and why does it spread? Because as we know, metastasis is the most deadly form of breast cancer. And slowly this evolved into a different perspective and really wanting to know what we can do about it. In other words, how can we solve breast cancer? How can we diagnose patients earlier, because this can help save lives? How can we improve therapeutics that are available to treat patients diagnosed with breast cancer? And how can we improve survivor quality of life? And so this kind of evolution in my research interests have now focused my attention on the idea of immunotherapy. And as probably many of you have heard about this emerging class of therapeutics, because we know that cancer is not just the malignant cells, and it turns out the immune system cancer development. And so researchers and clinicians for numerous years now have been developing different immunotherapies, so different agents that have the capacity to actually act on immune cells and help them or change the way those immune cells interact with the tumor, with the goal of trying to eliminate the tumor. And there are a lot of advantages to immunotherapy, and why it really makes sense as a approach to treat breast cancer. And one of the most exciting for me as a researcher, as someone trying to develop better ways better therapies, better ways to treat the disease, and also treat metastasis, is that immunotherapies, by acting on the immune system, teach the immune system to kill the cancer. And in so doing, this really has a strong potential to treat both the primary tumor as well as metastatic disease. And this has been the critical gap that existing therapeutics that we have in the clinic today. And one of the biggest and one of the big areas that I think there's another great potential for impact in immunotherapy is it also has the potential to protect against disease recurrence or relapse. As there are more and more survivors of breast cancer, there are more and more women that are living longer after their diagnosis, which is fantastic, but that means they're more at a risk for disease relapse. And so we need better ways to protect them from recurrent disease. And another major attractive feature of immunotherapy is that there are far fewer toxicities compared to other treatment reasons, not just survivorship, but also quality of life and peace of mind. Immunotherapies so far have been developed for use in other cancer types, but it really makes, I really believe that breast cancer is the next frontier for immunotherapies to be explored, because we know that the immune system plays a major role in breast cancer progression, and some of the most successful therapies available right now include drugs that have immunotherapeutic activity. Probably many of you are well aware of the success of Herceptin. Part of its major mode of action is actually stimulating the immune system. And so we know immunotherapies have a really large potential to make an impact in breast cancer, and we think we can do more. So it's recently been developed for other cancer types. In particular, there's immunotherapies, for example, the one that was used to help treat Jimmy Carter's brain metastasis, and we're hoping to try to implement some of these types of other diseases. But there's many challenges, despite all the many, despite the high hopes. In particular, that there are multiple ways that breast cancers subvert the immune system or trick the immune system into allowing the cancer to grow. And so it might be that we need to hit multiple pathways of breast cancer immune evasion in order to treat the disease. also the need to act. Side effects can occur with immunotherapy. So there's several things that need to be considered when designing cancer. So this is where the research in my laboratory comes to help treat breast cancer and prevent against disease, improving immunotherapeutic drug delivery to lymph nodes. So as many of you who are survivors yourself or are friends and family of survivors, you know that one of the critical ways, you probably have heard lymph nodes the most as in breast cancer as being biopsied. Your physician will check the patient's lymph node for metastasis. And so our idea in trying to improve immunotherapies for breast cancer is, since these are cells that not just where cancer is metastasized to, but are also tissues where cells of the immune system are highly enriched, our idea is, can we try to deliver drugs to those tissues? Because then we can, since these are tissues where the immune cells reside, those drugs will have higher activity. And we know that sentinel lymph nodes and the immune responses happening in sentinel lymph nodes correspond with patient outcome. And so the idea is, can we actually try to modulate that tissue's immune status in order to improve the effects, therapeutic effects. So we're going to test the following questions and ask what types of immunotherapies work best with this approach of sentinel lymph node targeting. Which are there combinations that work the best of different immunotherapies, and then the use of immunotherapy to treat breast cancer will likely be one of multiple modalities that will be used. In other words, patients will likely be treated with multiple forms of therapy. So we're going to test whether or not the immunotherapies we identify as being beneficial, whether or not they synergize with chemotherapies. And so to accomplish this, we're using a drug delivery technology that's really similar to when a patient undergoes sentinel lymph node biopsy, wherein an injection is made into the tumor, and then the dye that accumulates in the lymph node tells the surgeon which lymph nodes to extract and analyze for metastases. Our idea is, can we use a drug formulation that enriches drug delivery to those same lymph nodes in order to dramatically improve the accumulation of the drug in lymph nodes where those immune cells that we want to be delivering the drug to reside. And this formulation approach provides a tremendous and huge enrichment in the specificity of that delivery to that tissue compared to off-target tissue, so the liver, the kidney, and the lungs, where side effects are associated. And our hypothesis is that by having this targeted delivery, we can lower the doses needed to treat the patient and then therefore reduce toxicities. So moving forward, we're trying to combine this nanotherapeutic formulation approach with the concept of, can we improve immunotherapy delivery to sentinel lymph nodes in order to better treat breast cancer. The idea being, by treating this tissue and delivering drugs to the tissue better, we're going to be able to let's say, coach the patient's immune system to combat the cancer, which will both slow tumor growth, treat metastasis to hopefully prolong survival, and reduce associated side effects. And we're very excited about this and its potential to treat disseminated disease, and as a way to, one might think of as a personalized immunotherapy given the approach. And I want to really emphasize the huge impact that your efforts and your tremendous enthusiasm in supporting the Komen Foundation and how it makes a huge research impact. Our ability to do this type of research is created by opportunities that you as participants in the 3-day make possible. And really, this funding comes at a career stage where it's, I say, it's really make or break. In other words, as a young scientist wanting to build a career in breast cancer research, this is this funding that Komen has provided allows us to do things that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And really, by starting Komen is essentially the start of something bigger. By getting this support, it really as I list here, begets larger investments at the university level as well as the national foundation level in order to really accelerate the research in these avenues. So Komen is, and you as participants in these Komen events are really pushing our the science of our taking place in this country in the direction that you want to take it, and it has a huge impact that is multiplicative. So I want to say a huge thank you to the 3-day participants, the race participants, all the donors, advocates, and friends, family, and communities of the survivors that make it all possible. And I'd like to thank, say a huge thank you to you as well as the Komen Foundation for supporting this, this exciting research and opportunity.